That night, Eurus flies off, carrying Star away from the front village. Eurus explains that Jiu ordered him to do this because of the war, so getting Star out of the village is Jiu's way of protecting her. Eurus puts her down once they are far enough, explaining that they are at the end of the starting hills, which is a safe distance from the war. Eurus reminds Star that there are monsters in the area, like bunny bears. Still, he knows that Star is capable enough to defeat them on her own since those are only level 4. After that, Eurus bids her goodbye and flies off back to where MC is. But before he gets far, Star calls Eurus back to ask if everyone is alright. Eurus admits that he is not sure since this war is part of the last episode of Chrono Life. But at the same time, he also reassures her that they can trust Jiu since his existence means the humans will never lose. Back to the front village, the place where every war in this game seems to occur. Leor uses her whip on humans to charm them and fights the other users. Like a scene out of a horror movie, Mint Choco and Mr. PT find themselves surrounded by mind control users. Mint Choco asks if Mr. PT has any spells that can be used against the charm skill. Mr. PT admits that he has been trying to use it, but is ineffective since the level of charm used is too high. Poor artist. This is already the second time that Jippery is getting a beating from Mr. PT. He's the game due to his outfit. Mint Choco yells for him to run as the charm users charge for an attack. But Jiu asks why, and this only makes Mint Choco frustrated. Yeah, there are still some users who don't know her MC. Jiu lifts his wooden stick and brings it down to the ground. Everyone around him flies off, and even the angels flying above them are hit by the impact of his attack. This confuses Mint Choco, but it is too late for her worries since the big explosion destroyed both allies and enemies in the area. Jiu grins as he announces that he is done with cleanup. Luna comes up behind him, complaining that there is no knowing Noob's next move since what he just did doesn't seem to be the intention of someone who's protecting the human realm. Jiu only laughs at this, saying that he didn't use his full power. Luna can only agree since she knows how Jiu can easily destroy the whole planet if he wishes. Don't give him any ideas, please. Now that everything is cleared up, Jiu quickly spots Leor, who managed to survive Jiu's attack. Jiu tells the sprawled Leor that they should have a talk, calling her Whip Girl. Seeing the state Leor is in, Jiu tells Roach Lady to heal the Whip Girl. Luna complies and uses the divinity of life on Leor. Though Jiu isn't showing it in his face, he's amazed at how instantaneous the Roach Lady's healing skill is despite Leor probably being level 600. Fully healed, Leor stands up, shaking. She asks if he intends to humiliate her. Jiu dismisses this and says he only wants to talk. He explains how he heard from Habeck that Riot got killed, but Leor doesn't let him speak and attacks him instead with her whip. The attack is, of course, useless against her MC because of his healing factor skill. Leor also knows this, but she wants to vent her anger and sorrow at losing her brother. And for her, it was Jiu who caused all this. She really should think things through before taking action. Leor rains a shower of attacks with her whip at Jiu and yells at her to listen to him. He screams at how everything is just a misunderstanding. Still, Leor refuses to listen, believing that the robe found on her dead brother belongs to Jiu. Her answer only irritates Jiu, and he can't help yelling at her for being an idiot. Luna only smiles at this, knowing that she is right about how Leor won't listen. She then reminds Jiu about how the NPCs have built-in emotions. In the current state of Leor, reasoning out to her would be in vain. Luna then adds that this is fun since talking to her is almost like talking to an actual human. Right? Like a stubborn person who refuses to listen to reason. Jiu stares at Luna, ignoring Leor's attacks. It was then that Jiu realized that Luna was hiding behind him. Jiu asks what she's doing, and Luna smiles as she admits that she doesn't want to get hit by Leor's whip. Jiu lets her hide. But then he gets all serious as he asks if Luna killed Riot. Luna smiles at him, not affirming or denying her involvement in this matter. Luna chooses that time to peek out at Leor and asks what happened to Riot's body, whether it was burned or not. This question infuriates Leor into tears and starts to attack again. But she was able to talk or deal more damage because Luna suddenly appeared behind her and chopped her nape with her hand. She should have just done this from the start. Luna then asks if it's already been 3 days since Riot died and reveals that you will soon revive. Leor hears this before she faints from the attack. Jiu is amazed at how fast Luna is and ensures that Leor is still alive. Luna assures him that Leor is simply knocked out and comments on how realistic Chrono Life is since it lets you knock out others just like in real life. I'm starting to rethink whether Chrono Life indeed is a game or not. Seeing that Leor is fine, Jiu confirms if he heard right about Riot reviving. Luna confirms this and explains that Riot is of ruling blood, and this kind of angel can't die. She adds that if they even do die, they can still revive after 3 days. Luna concludes that Leor must not have known it because she has never seen one before. But there is a catch. Luna says that even though Riot will be revived, he will lose his halo, become a starlight, and fall to the human realm. Oh, and it's Star who finds the newly revived Riot. Jiu glares at Luna and asks her how she knows all of this, but Luna says it is a secret. Jiu continues to frown as he changes the question into why she is only revealing this now and not before all the chaos happened. Luna chuckles at this and admits that she did this on purpose, saying that this is only a game after all. Luna then says that she didn't expect Jiu to react like that since she thought he would enjoy it if there was a war. Jiu looks at her and claims that he is not a sick villain and would only attack whoever throws the first punch at him. He adds that the war broke out because of a misunderstanding, so fighting in this war won't make him feel good. Luna smiles at what Jiu said and tells him that he should teach the next person a lesson. Jiu was confused by this, but then he was suddenly attacked by a big red flash of light. Oh, that red light is a dead giveaway of who is attacking. Jiu coughs while carrying Leor in his arms. Jiu wonders if some enemies are still left, while Luna is shocked at how Jiu saved Leor just now. Jiu says he would feel bad if he left her just like that. Leor regains consciousness and hears Jiu's following words as he says that Leor only wanted to save her brother right from the start, and he wants her to see Riot when he revives. Luna chuckles as she compliments Noob for being sweet. Jiu tells her to shut it since he has been a nice guy all along. Jiu then tells Luna to heal Leor since he wasn't able to altogether avoid the attack just now. Acting like a good girl, Luna complies. It feels like Leor is starting to fall for our MC. I hope that's not the case. The sound of heels comes closer, and a voice expresses shock at how a human is still alive despite her attack. Jiu looks up and finds Captain Love in her essence of the Demon King form. Love glares at him while Luna tells Noob to watch out since it isn't the Love that he knows. She then explains that Love became the sin of envy, and her personality changed because of this. Jiu is surprised that this kind of thing is possible in the game. Luna says anything is possible in Chrono Life. She adds that Jiu also experienced this when his gender changed. Jiu refuses to believe it, saying it's not the same since he was not wholly forced to become another person. Luna smiles and says the premise is similar since the game can never really change a user's personality. To explain further, she says that Love lost the authority to control her character. Even if they look or feel the same sensations as their characters in the game, in the end, they are still characters inside a game. Luna explains that it is technically impossible to get hacked since the game uses headgear requiring authentication. Still, within the game, it is a different matter. And the Love we see before them now is a character controlled by the AI called the Sin of Envy. Won't the game developers get sued for this? At that exact moment, the loud thud resounds as Love curses at her predicament. She yells to be released and calls her undies and roach lady. Luna softly chuckles since she can clearly hear Love calling for them, but she intends to ignore her completely. Luna recalls how much she has done to get into that moment. Despite Luna's fast heartbeat, she only intends to sit back and watch, hoping to see Noob kill Love with his own 2 hands. Love, or in this case, the AI controlling Love, announces that she is the Sin of Envy. She's not precisely Love, so let's call her Love number 2. Yes, I know. I also have a terrible naming sense, like our MC. No need to point it out in the comments. Please. Love number 2 says she came to the human realm to complete her sin and wants the blood of human lives to turn Chrono Life into a sea of crimson blood. Jiu cringes at her statement and looks at Luna to ask if all those cringy lines were the AI talking just now. Luna says it is, and then she urges Jiu to slay her already since the Sin of Envy even came for him first. Jiu is a bit torn about what he should do, but Love number 2 kicks him in the chin before he can even decide. Before Jiu could even react to this, Love number 2 jumps and gives him another kick in the face. The strength of the attack surprises Jiu and gets thrown off with a big boom. Luna warns Jiu to be careful since all 7 sins have different personalities and abilities. She adds that among all of them, the Sin of Envy hates humans the most. Jiu sits up from his fall and says he doesn't care about that. What he's concerned about is how Captain Love got so strong. Luna explains that Love became one of the strongest users within the game when she became the Demon King. Luna adds that Love only didn't seem strong because she is like a leech attached to Noob's side. Hearing Luna's tone, Jiu can easily tell that hostility is laced in her words. Luna adds that Love becoming the Demon King means her stats are multiplied by 10. And Love is also using Knuckles of the Ascendant that he gave Love. In short, Love has OP stats on top of having OP weapons. Love number 2 ignores the fact that Luna and Jiu are still in the middle of a talk. She charges in and punches Jiu in the stomach. Luna watches as she reveals that Love has barely used 10% of her real power all this time. Love number 2 throws numerous punches, and Jiu is not avoiding any of them. While Luna continues to explain how the sin of MD is letting Love use her full potential. Love number 2 then uses her warrior skill, Falling Dragon Strike, against Jiu. At the same time, the real Love is furious at how things are unfolding. She aimed to be stronger to lessen the burden on Undies, but seeing this feels like she is trolling instead. Having no control over this matter, Love opts to log out of the game to stop the AI somehow. In real life, Serang sits up thinking that her logging out somehow helped, but her manager tells her she's wrong, saying her logging out didn't help with anything. As proof, the manager shares a live stream of the game to Serang, where Love number 2 is currently beating the lights out of Undies. Serang is confused as to how this is possible. This live stream is apparently brought to us by our Chrono Life live streamer, Hawkeye. He explains how he got killed and logged back into stream what is happening. Like a true professional live streamer, he is. Just then, other users also started logging back in. Still, Hawkeye focuses on the current ongoing battle between Love and the Brave Warrior. He takes time to explain that Love is also the famous idol, Sarang Han. Hawkeye then expresses his confusion as to why they would be fighting each other when almost everyone in the game knows that the two are companions. The pink-haired female fan from before speaks up, saying that Love is being controlled because Love was previously fighting alongside the other users. She adds how Love's eyes turned red and started acting weird. Hawkeye is surprised by the intrusion into his live stream and tells him to go away. Still, Serang's fan kept on explaining how what controls Love now is way different from the mind control the Whip Lady was doing earlier. She and other fans defend Serang during Hawkeye's live stream. Serang watches this, surprised at how much she's being defended by her fans. Her manager smiles at how Serang has a loyal fan and plans to send free concert tickets since this fan no doubt saves Serang's reputation. Feeling energized by her fan, Serang decides to log back into the game. Her manager agrees to this and tells her to find out how to take control of her character. The manager also instructs her to find this fan and hug her once things are resolved in the game. Serang says she will and wears her headgear. She logs back into the game while her manager watches over her. Her manager wonders if Chrono Life really is fun and if she should start playing it as well. And as a sneak peek, Serang's manager is bound to become one of the strong users of Chrono Life. But like any other sneak peek given to us by this manhwa, it is a story meant to be told in the future. Back in Chrono Life, G receives numerous blows from Love, and other users can only watch as this happens. Seeing that the content is getting boring, Hawkeye, professional as ever, uses this chance to interview other users. He starts it off with Mint Chocolate and asks for her statement on how she treated the Brave Warrior like a newbie. This makes Mint Choco blush as she admits that she didn't recognize him despite the rumors she had heard before. Seeing that Mint Choco is actually answering his questions, Hawkeye asks her about her thoughts on the fight happening before them. Mint Choco watches Jiu and Love and says the battle seems one-sided. Mint Choco suddenly pauses, lost in her own thoughts, thinking it might be better to farm than to watch this fight between two users since the war against the heavenly realm is already done. But these thoughts are not only Mint Choco's. For every other user there is thinking the same thing. But thinking and taking action are two different things. None of these users moved. Even a writer of this manhwa, Homso, is simply watching over as the scene unfolds. All of these users feel it, by instinct, that the real war is yet to start. Love number 2 rushes in for a kick, but this time, instead of receiving the attack, Jiu puts up his arm. He tells her to stop and return the body to Captain Love before he kills her. He says this in all seriousness, making Love number 2 shiver. Sensing danger, she leaps back and clenches her teeth, claiming how vile humans are. There's no doubt it is the A and I talking, but it also sounds like Leor who's talking. He doesn't seem to have any other lines besides his contempt against humans. Irked at Jiu, Love number 2 fully unleashes the essence of the Demon King. As she sinks, the noise appears at only 0%, while the sync status achieves 100%. Love number 2 activates the skill, Clutches of Death. The wings on her back become more prominent and change their form. From afar, the wings look like they'd have turned into giant demon hands. Love number 2 tells him to die and swoops in for an attack. The wings clench into fists and punch at where Ji-Yu is. The skill Love Number 2 uses a hidden unique skill of the Demon King that can freely take shape on the user's preference. It is also a strong skill since the physical power used to attack is converted from the Demon King's infinite magic power. Ji-Yu comments on how cool the attack is and ponders how to use this skill for himself. Stating that the vile human is unharmed, Love Number 2 charges for an attack while mocking him. Ji-Yu then injects magic power into his ego briefs and commands them to materialize. The system announces the materialization of a Ventinor's soul into reality, and Aventafter's human-like hands appear from Ji-Yu's briefs. Ji-Yu calls to move the clutches of the dragon while doing his unholy pose. Oh God, our eyes need to be clean after this scene. The dragon is coming out of our MC zombies. Every user who sees this cringes with disgust, but even if it looks disgusting, the hands were able to stop Love Number 2's wings by grabbing into them. Love Number 2 curses and mocks Ji-Yu, but Ji-Yu makes weird noises, making Love Number 2 more irritated. I'm honestly cringing when I read this chapter. Up above, the real Love watches and cheers for Ji-Yu. Someone then tells her to shut up since no one else can really even hear her. Love looks back and finds Roach Lady behind her. Luna says that she can clearly hear her, but Noob won't be able to do so. Love flinches at Luna's words and wonders out loud if Roach Lady is up to something shady again. Luna smirks at this and claims that love doesn't really mean anything to Noob since, for him, love is merely a way to pass his time. She says that love only happened to be there when Ji-Yu was role-playing his secretly OP persona. But what happened next irritated Luna to no end since love has been crossing the line and would always bother and stick to Noob. Luna calls love a nuisance, making love shout at her for repeatedly picking fights. Love asks what Luna even is in Unbi's life. Luna smiles at this as she claims that they are soulmates. Love laughs at this as she reminds Luna that Undies only sees her as an awful person right from what she did when they first met. Love claims that Luna may flirt with him, but this doesn't mean that Undies will ever like her. Luna's face darkens as she mutters how Love knows nothing about her since, unlike Love, she's been making sure that Noob feels good. She then points at Noob and makes her watch how much Noob is enjoying his time right at that moment. Our MC is definitely enjoying it in a peculiar way. Alright, Luna reveals how she revived Uriken and Yafi, how this led to the appearance of the Anthropomorphs, and how she started this war with the Heavenly Realm. Feeling proud, Luna says it is all because of her that Noob is enjoying his time playing Chrono Life. And to further make fun of Love, Luna claims that Noob doesn't hate her since he even kissed her. Now hold up, it was you who initiated that kiss, not our MC. Stop spreading fake news. Hearing this horrifies Love, and Luna relishes seeing that look on Love's face. She once again repeats how Noob kissed her, and to prove her point, she says that she plans to show it to her. Luna then disappears and appears right before Ji-Yu, who is still in the middle of clutching his big hands with Love Number 2. Luna apologizes and kisses him on the lips. Ji-Yu blushes as Luna kisses him, and everyone who sees this also blushes, but is not the same for Love, whose eyes are filled with tears. Forget that kiss in the meantime, though I swear I've already deleted it from my head. Let's go to where Star is. Star gulps and gathers her courage, and approaches Riot. She kneels beside him and asks if he's okay. She tells him to wake up, and somehow that did the job. Riot sits up and asks where he is. Star answers, and Riot realizes that he is in the human realm. He then looks at Star and asks who she is. Star smiles as she introduces herself. Riot asks if Star saved him, and Star says she only happens to be there. Riot's chest suddenly throbs and falls back as he coughs up some blood. Riot curses because the part where Luna stabbed him still hurts. Star is shocked by what's happening and checks her bag. She didn't bring any healing potions, but she remembers that she does have a sweet potato in her bag. This item can heal a small amount of HP. Riot looks at it as he says thank you, but says it is not enough to help him because of his high level. Star is not worried about this and smiles as she brings out more sweet potato from her bag. Riot flinches at the amount of sweet potato and asks how come she has a lot of these, and she didn't bring a healing potion with her. Star explains how this is lighter and a well-known beginner's item, so she makes sure that she always has them in stock. I have something similar in my merchant's inventory. Instead of red pots, I have a lot of apples and red herbs. Riot chuckles a bit at meeting a strange human like Star. Then he admits that he doesn't have the energy to eat it and claims he will soon die. But Star is not having any of those depressing talks and puts a sweet potato in Riot's mouth. She then happily smiles and tells him she will feed him herself. With Star's help, Riot was able to get healed by eating all of those sweet potatoes, avoiding death. Going back to our MC, I'm skipping ahead to the part after that scene that Luna pulled. Luna claims that her heart is fluttering while sweating. Seriously, what's with all the sweat? Luna claims that Jiu took both her first and second kiss while Jiu covers his mouth, flustered at what just happened. MC, why didn't you stop her? My ship should be sailing already. Our idiot of an MC finally regains a bit of his composure and asks what Roach Lady is doing. From what he just said, that means he just got kissed by a cockroach. Jiu complains, but Luna laughs, saying that she really wants to do that. But there's also another reason. The clutches of death suddenly blow up, while Luna claims the other reason is to awaken the sin of envy. After saying that, Luna disappears, while Love dashes and kicks Jiu. Love continuously attacks Jiu, making our MC curse and pull out one of his hidden skills. He uses the speed of light and approaches Love, thinking that she's been completely taken over and can't be reasoned with. Jiu intends to knock her out, but he sees tears falling down Love's face. Jiu screeches to stop, creating a big wind explosion that throws Jippery and Hongso into the air. The creators of this manhwa are really being tossed like nothing. The other users cover themselves from the impact. Minchoko can't believe that what the brave warrior did can cause such a significant impact. Jiu looks at the back of Captain Love and asks for confirmation if she is now back to normal. Love doesn't react, but Jiu simply sighs at how his captain is finally back to normal and explains what happened. Our MC doesn't know that Love is aware of everything that happened when Love number 2 took over her body. Jiu says he had a hard time since it is hard for him to attack his one and only captain. He also adds that he can't do anything against her since she also became a unique boss whose character will reset if she dies. Jiu once again expresses his relief, but Love doesn't respond to any of his ramblings. Jiu sighs again and asks her if she's crying right now because of him. Love continues to cry, with tears dripping from her face. She then tells him how her celebrity life started from a young age, how she went through a lot of things because of her parents, and how this led her to close herself from the world. It was only after a while that Surain managed to pick her life back up and rejoin the entertainment world. As Surain Han, everyone knows of her, but because of her life, she doesn't know how to talk with a man or what it means to date. She says that her upbringing might be why she's bad at expressing herself. She recalls how she constantly yells and unleashes her anger and unease. Love is well aware of how she's been acting like a child and explains that her emotional age has been stuck at 5 years old. So for Love, it was hard for her to honestly express her feelings. But she is well aware of the fact that she really likes undies. This surprises Jiu, and Love finally looks at him and once again admits how much she likes Jiu. Tears continue to fall as Love says this to Jiu. Hawkeye and the other users are watching from where they are. Everyone is curious about what is happening since the fighting stopped and how the brave warrior and Love seem to be talking. Hawkeye, being the gossip that he is, wants to get close to listen to their conversation. But as Hawkeye said this, his viewers quickly shut his idea down. Hawkeye then laughs it off, saying there's no way he is really doing something like that. Phew. Good thing they can't hear what's happening with our MC and Love. In real life, Manager watches Hawkeye's live stream, worry for Surain. Back in the game, Love recounts how she confessed her love to Jiu at the beach before. She says that she didn't receive an answer, but Surain let it go since she didn't want to rush Jiu. She admits that she's afraid of how Jiu might reject her, and how this will crush her entire world. She says she let it go because she also enjoyed the time she spent with him. Tears fall to the ground as she recalls how Roach Lady and Amis kissed. Looking down, she asks for Jiu's answer and asks if it is alright for her to like him. Jiu blushes at the confession, but this breaks his head as he wonders how Captain Love could possibly like someone like him. He suddenly sweats as he recalls her previous confession, wondering if it really wasn't a joke. Jiu thinks about how they play like usual, so our MC thought it was just a joke. Still thinking that way, Jiu forces a smile as he tells Captain Love to stop joking. These words only make Love cry more. Jiu freaks out since this situation is confusing him too much. Captain Love is Surain Han, a famous celebrity in music, acting, TV shows, or promoting. In whichever form of media it may be, there is no denying how famous she is. For that Surain Han to fall for a guy like him, he is left speechless. Darn it, MC, you're downing yourself too much. You're blind to what Surain sees in you. Luna shivers with glee as she watches this, thinking that Noob is doing a great job of his reactions. Luna hopes that Jiu would take that last step to push Love further into oblivion. Jiu awkwardly laughs as he scratches his head, It shows in his face how much his head has finally broken down as he laughs at this matter as some sort of nonsense. He is still confused about what this Sao Rang Hun can see in someone like him. To make things light, he claims that Captain Love is only acting right now and pulling his leg as a prank. Ji-yu laughs, saying it would never work on him. Tears continue to fall from Love's eyes, her heart shattering into pieces with every word and reaction coming from Ji-yu. To make matters worse, Luna decides that this is the perfect time for her to butt in, as she claims that Noob's reaction is the realistic response to this situation. She smiles, claiming that it was only a coincidence that Noob met the user, who happens to be a famous celebrity in real life. And this star ends up falling for Noob. As if it wasn't enough, Luna pushes another dagger with her words, claiming that this doesn't make any sense since it's so childish and cliche, and no one would believe it even if it were true. Luna smilingly looks at Noob, asking him to agree. Since Ji-yu is confused, he agrees with what Luna just said and adds how unrealistic it is. As a last push, Luna clings to Ji-yu and says that love means the couple must match, just like her and Noob. Not thinking clearly, Ji-yu hesitantly agrees with what Luna just said. "I'm sorry, but can I just kill our MC? That might fix his brain somehow." The tears never stop pouring out from Love's eyes, as if understanding how everything stands. She musters up all she has to smile and thank Ji for his answer to her confession. This being the last straw, the system announces how the requirements to awaken as the sin of envy have been fulfilled. A blast of red light flashes from Love, confusing our idiotic MC more. Luna smiles and shivers with delight at how things are finally happening how she wants them to be. I don't like it when Luna gets her way, but I still can't help but think that she's doing everything for a greater reason. Red fluid gushes out from Love as she floats up high in the air. The fluid increases, and it covers Love completely. Those who didn't understand what was happening were filled with horror. The red fluid sphere suddenly falls to the ground with a loud splat. Ji-yu calls for Captain Love, and the solidified red substance cracks open in half. Bright red light bursts from the broken sphere, while Luna explains that this is Love's annihilation skill. The burst of red light is divided into numerous lights, like a red fountain. But this red fountain is deadly as each beam hits the ground. The mass explosion slays a lot of users, and running away is not even an option. Ji-yu watches as this happens while Luna smiles. Ji-yu calls for Captain Love, but Luna tells him that the thing before him is no longer love. The big lump of the red substance causing destruction is now the sin of envy. Ji-yu looks at the red thing, thinking how Captain Love could turn into a monster. You have a hand in making her into this. The sin of envy opens up and unleashes another attack of annihilation. Ji-yu uses Swing Up to deflect it, causing a big explosion. But instead of disappearing into space, the big burst of annihilation divided itself and fell into the lands of Chrono. Explosions boomed everywhere, and Ji-yu clenched his teeth, thinking of Captain Love. No point in feeling frustrated now. Luna admits how she knew things would be amazing since having the Demon King become the sin of envy means there can be a continuous release of the annihilation skill. It won't even be cancelled out even if Noob attacks. She smiles as she asks what Noob plans to do now since letting Love, as is, will destroy the human realm. She adds that Love can't return to her original form now that she is completely fused with the sin of envy, explaining that it is a unique trait of the sin. Luna kept on talking, claiming she was worried for Love and how she couldn't do anything even if she logged out of the game. Saying that there is no other way out, Luna suggests that Noob should end Love of his own hands. This instigator is really smooth. With a dark face, Ji-yu says he will, making Luna extremely happy with his decision. Then Ji-yu tells Luna to stay put since he plans to do the same to her. Just like that, Ji-yu disappears, leaving Luna, who sadly smiles, saying that's all she wished for. Ji-yu appears before the sin of envy and apologizes to Captain Love. He swings his wooden stick against the enemy, claiming that you will make sure that Captain Love won't be in pain. But the attack our MC didn't defeat his enemy. The sin of envy appears above him, preparing to release another annihilation skill. Ji was surprised at how it survived, but the enemy doesn't care about his thoughts and shoots out a red beam. Too late to evade, Ji uses 1,000,000 strikes against the annihilation skill. But just like what happened before, the annihilation skill divides into numerous beams and drops to the ground. Ji expected this to happen and intended to break each of them before it even landed on the ground. So once again, our MC uses 1,000,000 strikes, and each annihilation beam explodes mid-air. Luna looks at the fireworks, enjoying herself since it is similar to watching an apocalypse unfold before her eyes. Yeah, an apocalypse of your own doing. Luna looks beside her, where God is. God says that the planet is not so weak that it can be ended just like this. Luna then reminds him about how Noob destroyed the planet before. The cold water splashed into him. God agrees and says that GU is just too OP. God then claims that you should step in and play the part of a guard. Luna looks at him curiously and sighs as she asks why God is in the human realm since he is supposed to be busy doing stuff for the ending. God smiles, saying it is too early to talk about the end. Luna asks what he means and if the sin of envy hasn't completed her duty yet. God says that the sin of envy has fulfilled it already with the help of the explosions from earlier. He then explains that they still need to see how this fight will end because there won't be an ending if the sin of envy wins. Luna laughs at this, saying that Noob won't lose. God smiles and tells Luna to keep a close eye on this battle because the sin of envy is stronger than Luna has ever imagined. The sin of envy and Ji face each other. Ji was perplexed at how he isn't leaving any scratches on it despite the numerous hits he has already unleashed. He ponders if the monster before him has self-healing abilities or if it is able to dodge despite its size. Ji sighs and says he has no choice. He then disappears and stands on top of the sin of envy. Ji claims that he should just get close and crack its skull. The sin of envy shudders at the threat, and true to his word, Ji smashes his wooden stick on the top of the monster. True to his word, the attack cracks the sin of envy's head open, making it screech. Ji mocks the monster, but then his enemy retaliates by eating up Ji as it reforms itself. God smiles widely as he says this is the sin of envy's unique attribute which fuses itself with the target and steals everything from it. Wait, do you mean the sin of envy has eaten up not only Captain Love but also our MC? But don't you think this kind of thing would be nothing against our MC's healing factor? God continues to explain how the sin of envy envies, hates and denies his target and ends it by stealing everything from his target. God still smiles widely, saying how Love had her whole body stolen by the sin of envy this way. It adds how it can even fuse itself with literally anything, whether it is living or not. But when a big blast of attack comes from the sin of envy, God flinches and sweats, saying that is how it is supposed to go. The red sphere that is the sin of envy is once again cracked open, with our MC really irritated at how he got swallowed. He lifts his wooden stick saying that the monster should be ready to pay up for what it just did. Ji smashes the monster with his weapon, throwing the monster off him. Ji flies off to where it is and smacks it once more. This injures the sin of envy, but Ji doesn't hesitate to activate Speed of Light to continuously attack his enemy. The monster cracks, and Ji announces the finale as he brings down his weapon one more time. The sin of envy crashes to the ground. The two spectators are still together, chatting. Luna sighs as she asks about God's claims and comments how the sin of envy looks like it is the weakest sin. Don't talk, please. You're just raising a flag. Ji looks down, thinking it is finally over, but something sparkles from below, catching Ji's eyes. The sin of envy is back in its liquid blob form and wriggles on the ground. Ji sighs, thinking how the monster is holding on for dear life despite getting all beaten up. But the sin of envy wriggles and decreases somehow, disappearing into the crack on the ground. These actions confuse not only Ji but also Luna, and God says this is the scary thing about the sin of envy, its ability to fuse with anything. The red liquid stuff suddenly increases and wriggles on the ground as Ji watches in shock. God declares that the sin of envy chose to fuse itself with the Chrono continent. The sin of envy recovers itself now that it has merged with the land of Chrono. Ji watches the monster get big, wondering how big it could get. It could probably get bigger depending on what it chooses to fuse with. The rising red liquid solidifies itself and turns into a monstrous form of Leviathan, the sea dragon. Ji wonders if this is the sin of envy's true form. He looks at Leviathan and sees a shadow on top of its head. As Ji looks closely, he finds Captain Love with half of her body submerged on the top of the enemy. Unable to control his glee, God laughs hard for some time. He states that now that they've reached this point, he tells Luna that they should really enjoy the show together. God wonders out loud what his little friend will do since this battle will determine if Ji will open the door or not. God and Luna are good co-conspirators. They're both twisted in their own way. Ji looks at Captain Love, who's on top of the sea dragon. There was a sudden flap of wings behind Ji, and it was Eurus who called him. Glad to see his master. Eurus jumped onto Ji's head, declaring his arrival. Eurus ruffles Ji's hair as he says that he is done dropping Star to a safe area. Ji tells Eurus to get his foot off his mouth. Displeased at how it is being ignored, Leviathan nudges Ji with its body. The attack makes Jiu fly off to the ground with a crash. Jiu complains that since he was talking when a monster attacked. Eurus flies to where Jiu is and asks if he is okay. Jiu answers that he is and admits that he is mainly irritated at the cheap attacks of the enemy. Not waiting for Jiu to recover, Sea Driving uses Annihilation, and Jiu is pissed at how it is using that skill again. He declares that he will crack its head open, but Jiu suddenly stops when he remembers how Captain Love is on the head of that monster. Instead of attacking, Jiu brings down his weapon. While I'm happy our MC's hesitation, that's still a bad move in a sense. This surprises Eurus, wondering what is wrong with Jiu. The monster unleashes Annihilation on Jiu, and our MC does nothing to deflect or defend against it. Seeing that Jiu won't do anything, Eurus flies off to safety. The impact of the attack causes a big explosion, throwing Eurus off and tumbling to the ground. Eurus survives the attack somehow, thanking the fact that his body is not only cute but also bouncy. Lol. Eurus finally gets enlightened on the advantages of his current form. Eurus then sits up and looks for Jiu. Eurus can tell that the Annihilation skill is more condensed magic power this time, and there is a possibility that Jiu didn't survive that attack. Eurus calls for Jiu, worried that he might be gone for good. The smoke dissipates, and Eurus finally finds Jiu. Eurus expresses his happiness at how Jiu was safe despite that strong attack, but Jiu doesn't say anything, and Eurus asks him if there is any problem. He asks why Jiu would stop his counterattack and if this concerns Captain Love, who is on top of the sea dragon. Jiu's face is dark as he admits that he doesn't know. Don't rush him too much, Eurus. Our MC still needs time to take it all in and process his emotions and thoughts. Jiu recalls how Luna mentioned that Love might be sad for killing all those humans even though it was not her intention. She even told Jiu to end Love with his own hands, and he replied that he plans to do that. Jiu clenches his weapon and shudders as he tells Eurus how he has already decided to kill Captain Love, and yet he really can't bring himself to do it. Hearing Jiu admit this, Eurus smiles with a smug look on his face. Oh yeah, our leader for this OTP is showing his approval as well. Jiu sees the look on Eurus's face, asking what's with his face. Eurus continues to smile while saying that Jiu sounds like he is in love. Jiu blushes at Eurus' words and pulls on Eurus' face. He yells at Eurus to stop the joke since this matter before them is serious. Still, Eurus only laughs at him, saying Jiu shouldn't be shy since Jiu isn't acting like himself and has been dragging this for a long time. Eurus adds that if it was a different time, Jiu would have already defeated the sea dragon. No doubt about that. Jiu continues to blush. Unable to refute Eurus, he continues pulling on Eurus' face while Eurus asks him if Jiu and Captain Love are now dating. Jiu tells Eurus to shut up since Eurus already knows that it is not the case. He reminds Eurus that Love is a famous celebrity in real life, so there's no way she would even consider him that way. Darn it, I'll take Captain Love for myself if you're going to keep on denying her feelings for you. Jiu recalls his conversation with Captain Love and tells Eurus that even before he appeared, that conversation was long over. Eurus then says that everything is fine. He concludes that Jiu should crack the enemy open if the sea dragon is a mix of Captain Love and the sin of envy. Jiu's face darkens, and he lets go of Eurus' face as he says that he is already planning to do that. But Jiu hesitates when he thinks of Captain Love. Out of nowhere, a sweet potato is shoved into Jiu's mouth. This makes Jiu stop thinking as he stares at Eurus, who did the shoving. He asks Eurus what it is, and Eurus explains that he got it from Star. Jiu eats the sweet potato as Eurus tells him to eat up and stop overthinking things. He says that Jiu should just beat his enemy to clear his head since thinking really only works for intelligent people, and Jiu doesn't fall into that category. Lol, I don't know if Eurus is encouraging him or dissing him. Our MC takes it as an encouragement in size. Jiu says that Eurus is absolutely right. He squashes the leftover sweet potato in his hand and spits out the sweet potato skin in his mouth. Jiu then grabs his plus 99 reinforced wooden stick and faces the sea dragon, claiming that he is now charged up. He immediately uses swing up against Leviathan, making the monster hiss. The monster drops down and slithers toward Jiu for an attack. Jiu comments on how fast it is and how it was able to dodge the explosion of his attack. He says that aside from Yurekin, not counting Buttman, the sea dragon is the first to dodge his attack. What? Then that makes Leviathan the second or third enemy to avoid it. The sea dragon charges, but Jiu evades and jumps to the enemy's head. With the devilish look on his face, Jiu claims that he would once again be going to get close to hit him. Just like that, he smacks the sea dragon up into the air. Jiu jumps up and strikes again. Our MC continuously moves in the direction of the sea dragon and hits on it. Leviathan gets thrashed mid-air because of Jiu's constant attacks. Eurus clings to Jiu's cape as Jiu moves from place to place and asks why Jiu won't go for Captain Love instead, since she is sticking out from the sea dragon's head like a big hit. Eurus adds that Captain Love might be the weak spot of the monster. Jiu looks at Eurus with disgust, asking if he wants to play whack-a-mole with his captain. Eurus smiles and blushes, saying that Jiu could do that, then smugly adds that he actually hopes that Jiu would kiss Captain Love instead. Woohoo! That's it, leader. Make our MC kiss Love. Also, thanks for this image, even though it's all in your imagination. With his lips pouting, Eurus claims that this is the surefire method of awakening the female lead. See, even Eurus approves of Love as the FL for this story. He adds that it must be a wet French kiss to ensure she awakens. Jiu shuts Eurus up by grabbing his face. Jiu tosses Eurus off, skeptical at how a kiss would awaken a female lead since this story is no fairy tale. Jiu activates one of his unique attributes, the soul of the sword, and it levels up and adds a new skill. Jiu uses the strike with both hands, which is apparently a legit sword skill, against the sea dragon. This causes a more enormous explosion that reaches into space. Jiu smirks, claiming that's the end of the final sin. God smirks as well and says that is not the case. It then points up above, reminding them of its unique attribute to fuse with anything. I wonder if our MC can even hear him. Jiu looks up with shock as he sees the Sin of Envy fuse itself to the moon. Like its previous spherical form, the Sin of Envy cracks open its mouth and charges toward the planet where Jiu is. Jiu glares at its approach while Eurus panics at this development. Unlike Eurus, Jiu breaks off into a smile, saying that the Sin of Envy dares to break a planet in front of him. Our MC then announces that he will do more than that. With a flash of bright light, Jiu activates the 8 Mirrors skill, the Mirror of Expansion. Just like before, Jiu expands based on his maximum amount of mana. Yeah, we'll see that form again. The Sin of Envy is surprised at the rising appearance of Jiu as it stands atop the planet. Deeming it not enough, Jiu activates another skill, the Soul of the Giant, increasing his damage and attack range by 1000%. Having fused these two skills, Jiu claims that he is now past breaking planets and will be breaking the universe. Jiu then strikes with his wooden stick, and the explosion from it reaches the Sin of Envy. The enemy gets destroyed into smithereens, leaving nothing of its small red liquid behind. The body of Love floats in space, still unconscious. A hand grabs her shoulder, and Jiu carries her bridal style with a look of fondness. He tells her that it is now time for them to head home. Jiu then flies back to the planet, where the Earth is deeply marked by his footprints. The Adventurer's Guild is a prominent place in any gaming fantasy platform. This is where characters can register as adventurers, take certification exams, rank up, take requests, and gain rewards. And in Chrono Life, this is also the place where information is exchanged. Hence, users visit this place almost on a daily basis, though we haven't really seen our MC head to this place. A flash of wing swirls in the air as Minchako claims that there's something wrong. She complains about how things have become quiet after the battle with the Heavenly Realm and the fight between the brave warrior and Love. She then looks at Mr. PT, asking for his agreement. Mr. PT takes a bite from a lump of big meat and then laughs. He asks what they should feel weird about when it is preferable when things are at peace. He then enumerates what makes Chrono Life Chrono Life. Minchako asks if Mr. PT has always been this laid back and says she requested to be friends because she found him funny. Mr. PT only laughs as he apologizes for bursting her bubble. Mr. PT finishes his drink and then gets serious in their talk. He tells Minchako to think about why strange things seem to be happening in one go. He recalls how there was Eureka and veracity up to the latest event of the Sin of Envy. He says that these main quests were never revealed, yet all of these were accomplished almost instantaneously. And we all know who was behind all these events. Bored, Minchako admits that it was strange since most online games would release it through updates that would take half a year to 1 year. Mr. PT says that having the main story move this fast wouldn't be suitable for the game developers since they won't be able to make much money. He explains that with a longer lifespan, the developers would be able to secure a steady stream of income. For Chrono Life to do the opposite is what is strange here. Minchako realizes that Mr. PT is right about this matter, and she sighs as she says that this is the fault of the brave warrior since he is busy finishing those main quests at a fast rate. I wish everyone else also knew who started these events, so they would stop thinking that everything is our MC's fault. Mr. PT laughs at this and comments on how unlucky the game developers of Chrono Life are. The big thud sounds outside the Adventurers Guild, and users are clamoring for some reason. Mr. PT laughs hard as he claims that Minchako is lucky that her wish has been answered. Minchako worriedly looks outside, wondering if this is good or bad. She and Mr. PT head out to check what is happening. She looks up and finds a humongous, eye-like being looking down upon them from the sky. Doesn't this look like one of the Goddess of Light's summons? With this foreboding shade of green in the sky and a big eye looking at them, the users only have one thought. The Chrono Continent is definitely ending. In real life, Sorane's in her bed, ignoring her plushie of undies, as she recalls what happened inside the game. She suddenly cringes as she remembers how she confessed to undies. She then flails around, throwing off her blanket as she dies from embarrassment. Sorane starts punching her undies merch. Then her question of asking for permission to like undies was repeated by Sorane's manager. Sorane yells for her to stop, but her manager doesn't listen and continues to repeat Lo's previous lines. Sorane is horrified and continuously tells her to stop. Sorane yells and throws stuff at her manager, saying how she doesn't even know what really happened since no one heard about what happened since they were far from the other users at that time. The manager claims that anyone could tell what was happening back then, even if they didn't hear. With all the crying after seeing that kiss, it's a wonder why rumors are not flying around already. The manager then asks Sorane about her plan to date after 3 years and asks if Sorane finally got tired of waiting, which is why she confessed to him. Sorane then recalls what she said to her manager from chapter 36 and falls silent. She blushes as she says that was the plan, but when she sees what happened back in the game, Sorane tears up as she recalls that scene. She cries hard as she hugs her undies stuffed toy. Her manager sighs of her crying state, but Sorane speaks up, reminding her manager about the kiss. The manager looks at her charge fondly and tells her not to think too much of the things that occurred within the game. Comforting Sorane, her manager says kissing in the game is nothing but having pixels rub lips against one another. This somehow comforts Sorane, and her manager tells her to stop crying and just focus on claiming undies' first kiss in real life. I hope this happens real soon. This snaps Sorane to reality, and she agrees with her manager. Sorane compliments her manager for the dating advice, despite them being both clueless about dating. Not that it matters since even our MC is clueless about this stuff. Now that Sorane is back to normal, her manager asks what her plans are since she hasn't logged back into the game ever since that thing happened. The manager tells Sorane that she doesn't have any gigs for the day and she can use this time to log in and see undies instead of hugging that doll of hers. Sorane thinks about it and agrees, but the doorbell suddenly rings. It continuously rings without stopping, and it is Jiyu who is at the door. Sorane and her manager are shocked to find Jiyu outside. Jiyu calls for Captain Love, asking if they can talk. Sorane can't hide her surprise and screams and speaks softly as she asks why he is there. Her manager tells Sorane to calm down and says this is an excellent position for her. She describes how those who approach first are the one who likes the other more. She adds that having undies approach her means he worries for her, and Sorane takes note of this on her phone. Her manager tells her that this is Sorane's opportunity to catch undies. Sorane excitedly agrees and decides to head off to the door and meet undies. But before she could walk off, manager grabbed her by the hood and asked if she planned to see undies in her sweats. With a glint in her eyes, manager tells Sorane that she must don the proper armor. Good call, manager. Love has almost forgotten to use her looks to charm our MC. G receives a message from Sorane, telling him to wait and that she'll be out soon. He looks at his phone, thinking that she will soon answer her door since it has been 10 minutes since she sent him the message. The entrance to Sorane's place creaks open, and Jiyu asks if Captain Love is now ready. He adds that he has his car ready down at the lobby, so they should go down. But he stops talking and blushes when he sees Sorane come out. Sorane tucks her hair behind an ear and looks up at Jiyu, saying they can go now. Jiyu continues to blush, and his heart beats loudly upon seeing her. He slightly stammers as he agrees. Jiyu drives his blue sports car with its hood down. Both of them are blushing, and Jiyu sweats as he decides to make small talk about the weather. They look at each other for a bit, but they both get awkwardly silent. Sorane also sweats as she reminds Jiyu that he should call her by her name instead of Captain Love in real life. Jiyu recalls this happening in chapter 22 and agrees that he should. They once again fall into an awkward silence. Ji tries to call her by her name but ends up saying Sarang's full name. Sarang laughs at this and tells him to just call her Sarang. Ji tries that again and finally calls her Sarang. Finally, some progress. This makes her heart beat fast. She bites her lips at first. Then she smiles as she asks Ji what it is, calling him by his first name. This makes Ji's heart beat loudly once more, and they look away from one another. He awkwardly laughs at how having her call him other than Amis was unexpected. Sarang says she wants to lighten the mood since they are not in the game. They both fell silent once more, but both of their hearts were clearly beating so loud. Too bad our leader for this OTP is not seeing this development. Ji tries to get over the silence and finally tells her that he wants to ask her about something. Sarang asks him what it is, and Ji says it is about how she confessed to him inside the game. He asks if Sarang is serious about it. This question catches Sarang off guard, stabbing her right in the heart. Ji blushes and sweats, confirming if she meant it as a joke. He explains that he has no experience being in that kind of relationship, so he is terrible at telling if that was a joke. Still blushing, Sarang says that Ji got it wrong since she's being serious about it. This makes Ji pause and silent as he recalls how he reacted to Sarang's confession. He then apologizes for how he behaved and says he never thought that the Sarang Han would see him in that light. Describing himself as a nobody makes Sarang sad and tells him that he shouldn't put himself down. She then reminds him of how our MC said similar words to her before. Sarang comments on how confident Ji was inside the game, which is really different from how he acts shy now. But it does make sense if our MC sees his in-game as another persona of his. Ji's face darkens and the car screeches to a stop. He announces that they've reached their destination. Sarang looks around, asking where they are since she thought they would go to the beach like last time. Ji smiles, saying they are in a low-cost district, the place where he used to live. Sarang curiously looks around and says how she thought they were neighbors all along. Ji sighs as he admits that an ordinary guy like him can afford to live in such a place. He then tells her how he had just moved in when he brought a cake to her place. This occurred back in Chapter 12. Ji explains how he used to live in a tiny studio apartment until he reached the age of 21. Ji invites her to come in, and Sarang nonchalantly agrees. Realizing her simple answer got her all surprised. Inside Ji's old place, Sarang's heart beats fast as she thinks about how the two of them are alone in that place. Ji suddenly curses about the lack of drinking water in that place and asks if Sarang wants him to get some coffee for them. Sarang says it's okay and reassures Ji by saying that she actually likes tap water straight from the faucet. Sarang drinks the water offered by Ji while Ji thinks about how this is the first time he has met someone who likes to drink tap water. He sighs and smiles as he watches Sarang drink the water. He looks away and reveals how he wants to show this place to her. He then says that he wants to tell her his story. Finally, after 60 chapters, we're now finally learning more about our MC. Ji admits that he feels like it is cringe now that he's about to do so. He says that his story is not that fascinating, and Sarang might not even be curious about it. Sarang blushes as she says that she is curious and adds how Ji never really told her anything about himself until that moment. She fondly smiles at him as she admits how she wants to hear his story from him. This makes Ji blush, but his reaction changes when Sarang pulls out her phone and starts recording him. If it was me, I would also record it on my phone. Ji blushes again as he sighs. He admits how he really doesn't like talking about himself to others, and it is rare for him to do so. Ji recalls how he told his story at the start, though that story lacks his real life. He mentions Sarang's comment on how he always puts himself down and says if the reason he does so is that he is a complete nobody in real life. Ji describes himself as someone who is not notably handsome or tall. He admits that his grades are not that great, and he is not even that good when it comes to sports. And if based on the place he lived in, he's also not well off. Ji says he would only be bronze 4 if he ranks himself based on game tier. By the school grading system, he would be a C or a D. He says he is at the bottom of the pyramid. When it comes to his family, his parents are busy working, so he is always left on his own since he was young. He says he never pitied himself since his parents would even give him money or tell him to keep his head up. He knows that there are those who are in a worse state than him, but nonetheless, Ji says that his life is boring. Oh, this is why we haven't seen any of our MC's family members. He suddenly starts crying kaiji tears as he expresses heartbreak when his parents stopped supporting him financially when he turned 18. He admits that they did send him some money occasionally, but he must still work 2 to 3 part-time jobs to make up for his living expenses. He tells Sarang how he spent his daily life busy and tired from work. It was already a routine for him. But all changed when he looked up and saw the virtual reality arcade. He had never played them before, though he did play mobile and PC games before. Playing VR was crazy expensive back when he was a kid, so he ended up coming inside the arcade and inquired about the latest popular game. Jiu starts playing Chrono Life at that time. The new place and numerous users around him excited him for the first time in a long time. With beginner clothes and a wooden stick for a weapon, Jiu smiles at the new world before him. It was at that moment that a new version of him was born. Guys, that's the end of the video. If you liked this video, please leave a comment in the comment section. Also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. Like the video and share it too. Thank you for watching and see you next time again.